Ooh. Hi guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes. I'm sitting here with my friend Mimi, who's an expert at reading people's souls. She read my soul, was really eye-opening. Now, I wanted to ask her, because I'm, a single woman trying to find a nice guy, what soul groups are most compatible, and how can I tell what soul groups people are in?
Well, it's very difficult to be able to tell what soul group people are in unless you've trained and being able to look at people at soul level. So that's what I do. And as far as matching with someone who is a particular soul group, that's individual. And so that would very definitely be something we could look at for you, but individually. Over the past 25 years, I've probably done thousands and thousands of soul readings, and never ever have I found one that was like another, which is so fascinating to me that everybody is so unique. So it would be impossible to classify, what's the best soul group for you to match with unless I just looked at you individually. I couldn't say globally because you come from a star system called Beta Centaurus or wherever you're from that you would match with someone in particular from some other star group. It's always individual.
Gotcha. And do personalities come into play? Can we still clash?
Absolutely. We all work with strengths and challenges. So even within our own soul groups, we have strengths and challenges. So it's a matter of where you spend most of your time. And if you choose to work with the challenging parts of your energy, you're going to attract people who are working with the challenging parts of their energy. So the question becomes, do you want to constantly be researching what love is, or do you want to research what love isn't?
Wow. So how do I not work with the challenging part of my energy? Because I think you've just solved all my problems.
I think it was the wine. Well, the biggest key is learning what your strengths and your challenges are, because we all have them. None of us are perfect. If we were perfect, we would pixelate into light and we would be gone from this experience into the next. So while we're here, we're still works in progress. So if you are focusing then on the part of your soul gifts that are challenges to you, then that's where you're going to remain. So as long as you know what they are, and then you know how to move beyond them or through them or away from them. And what I usually tell people is, don't hate that part of yourself, love that part of yourself, embrace that part of yourself. Just choose maybe to the tools I can give you to change an energy pattern that might have taken you 3 months. Let's do it in 3 days. And then maybe if you get better and better at it, you can do it in 3 hours. And then maybe 3 minutes. See what I'm saying? And that's soul growth.
Wow. And, tell them about my soul planet, because I think that's really cool.
You're Beta Centauran?
Yeah, the Hadarian or whatever.
Yeah, Beta Centaurus, which is the planet Hadar, which is the love beacon. So every planet in our solar system has a frequency that is specific to the souls that lived there, worked there, evolved there. Those star souls who came here, star traveler souls, carry those in their DNA. So Lauren, being from Beta Centaurus, carries the love beacon within her DNA. So for her, different from me, because I'm from a different star system, I carry a program for light and awareness. She carries one for love. So for her, the challenge would be getting into relationships where mostly people take from you because they see how loving you are. And then you get into relationships where you're giving all the time, never receiving. And researching, again, like I said, what love isn't instead of what love is. So we turn that around. We remind you what you have in your DNA, that you, by virtue of being here, breathing, living, wherever you're planted, you have that untainted love to share with others, and how to then do that, how to express that on the planet.
That's so cool. Now, you did a reading for me that really helped me because I was in this weird time in my life. And so can you explain, like, when you do a soul reading, like, what do you talk about? Because I thought that was cool.
Okay, so, well, I was taught, I've had many master teachers through the years, but from the beginning of my spiritual experience, where I knew I had to be working with my spiritual gifts that I had, I was led to teachers who taught me about being a soul healer, and then how to enter into the soul energy of a person, because we are physical, manifest in the third dimension, but then we're fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh dimensional beings as well. So when you can learn to connect with that other dimensional part of someone, you can actually enter into the soul record of that being. So when I do that, of course I see bazillions of terabytes of information, and so I've learned how to ask specific questions. So I go in with specific questions to ask, and the focus is always like, what do you want to know about you right now to make your path more prosperous? And so inside of that, I will look at a very minute piece of information, and then beyond that first part, whatever comes up next, it's like pages of a book that start to turn, and then you get more and more information about the things that you need right now to make your life a more prosperous place.
We have a question from Hillary. She says she feels like she gives all the time and she doesn't get anything back, and she said because of that she's in a dark place. How do you stop that cycle? Is there a way to stop it?
Absolutely. And Hillary, I would say probably one of your greatest gifts is that you give. One of your greatest gifts is that you probably work with one of the realms of light that is an empathetic realm and a gift-giving realm to others. You probably have training compassion. You are a gift to the planet because of those things. What happens is we get out of balance because we give to others, and then we let others take from us until we have nothing left of our own. So how I would work with you on that concept, and depending on where we found that exactly happening for you, I would work with you to make sure that you are focusing on the self-love component first, self-compassion first, and I would teach you and work with you on self-nurturing first. Then once you're full, then you can freely give to others. But it has to first be focused back on you. And that is one of the things that we forget when we're here.
Another question I have, and I feel like I do this often, is I get so obsessed. If I really like somebody, I get obsessed with them. And I'm trying to channel my energy to make them think about me and do this thing. But then you told me something interesting, and you're like, oh, that's not a good thing to do. You told me that if you try to access their soul history, sometimes they get upset about it, or they can feel it. Can people really feel energy?
100%, yes. And I have a lot of clients who come to me when they're entering into new relationships because they do want to have a look-see at who this person is. And it's always your right to know who's around you. If a doctor's going to do surgery on you, if you're in a new relationship, if you have a new neighbor, a new boss, it's absolutely your right to know who those people are. Now, when we do take a look, some people kind of become aware of that at a strange, soul level place. And so you want to make sure, and this is why I don't recommend, trying to do it if you haven't been trained to do it. And I do train people how to do it properly so that you're going in through a plate glass window, so to speak. So you're taking a look without leaving a footprint. You see what I'm saying? Because people will, if you go into aggressively, they'll know you've been there. They'll know you were rooting around in their soul record. It's funny, people do, and I've had some people say that, once we took a look-see, that person backed off.
Yeah.
And over time, I learned how to do it more delicately and more through the plate glass window, so that we were really just observing and not leaving any kind of a footprint, and that's a better way to do it.
But you're funny. She'll like call it if I'm talking to somebody. She'll like know. She'll be like, oh no, that's not the one. Or like, it's so weird. Is it like a psychic premonition that you get? How do you know? Like,
well, no, it's not a psychic premonition. It's a psychic knowing. I mean, and all of us have the ability to do it. By the way, I'm no more special than anyone else in that area. It's just that from a very young age, I recognized I had certain gifts, and then I chose to train them. And through working with some of the spirit councils, I was able to be led to teachers on the planet and some off the planet who were able to direct my gifts so that I could do the work. But anyone who wants to do the work could learn how to do it. We all have the ability.
So Hillary said, I am learning to be single and find myself as hard. We were just talking about this. We're talking about having a girls' time because we have another friend. She has another friend who's coming here who's just became single. You gave a lot of good advice. Can you share it with everybody what your advice is for being single?
What was Hillary's question?
She's just trying to be single.
She's just trying to learn how to be single.
Yeah.
So single is a beautiful time, like we talked about earlier. I don't know if it's the same Hillary, maybe another Hillary. It's a beautiful time to focus on you, because a lot of times, especially if we're psychic, if we're intuitive, if we're empathetic, we tend to give all the time, and then the energy is always turned outward. There's nothing wrong with that, and it is our gift to the planet. But at some point, you have to create balance within yourself. So in a time frame, and I call it a moment. So in the moment you're single. So look at it as a moment, Hillary. It's not going to last forever, but it's a moment, and it's been gifted to you by time. And time is a short moment where you get to just focus maybe on looking back at you, filling yourself with self-love. What do you like to have in the refrigerator? What do you like to do when you get up first thing in the morning? What do you like to do before you go to bed at night? What music do you turn on when you're listening to music? These are things often that we give away to others because we're in service to others all the time. So take your moment that you're single and focus that energy back on you. Fill yourself back up. And from that place, you will then attract that person that will come in and honor those parts about you, which is really the key.
Now, how, like, if somebody wants to book you for a reading, do they just go to your website?
Yes, theinnerrealm.com, and they can message me from there, or they can also just register for a session. Once they register for a session, it comes to my email, and I send you back. It's all very personal and personalized, and so I will send you back what you need to send me so that we can plan our time together. And then I prefer to do, like, unless you're in the Los Angeles area where I live, then mostly we do Zoom or FaceTime or some sort of a conference call where we can see each other and interact, because the sessions are all extremely interactive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, any advice for people out there who are trying to get over things? I know I love, thank you. So I know you gave me exercises after you were doing like certain kinds of vibrational musics. Like, is that anything we can recommend people?
What exactly do you mean?
Like, you told me I needed to open my heart chakra, and there's like certain vibrations for that. Like, are there other things like people should do? Like, is there a general?
I like to work with frequencies. I'm very much into frequencies and gemstones and other things that carry frequencies and essential oils. But music is one of the best frequencies on the planet, and there are love frequencies, and you can just go on YouTube and just search the love frequency, and you'll come up with so many love frequency 525, 425 love frequency videos and musics that you can listen to, and they actually will change your brain. There's hemi-sync music as well that will work with synchronizing both sides of your brain so that it works together. And those are very powerful tools.
Oh, well, I'm going to do that tonight when I go to sleep. I'm just going to play it in the background.
Play it all night long. Yeah.
Thank you for hanging out. I had to force. She didn't want to come on my live stream. She doesn't do social media, but I'm trying to get her on Facebook at least, but my Facebook. So we're going to make a Facebook for her soon. But definitely check out her website. And this is my friend. So guys, if you want to do any readings. It really helped me because I was going through a lot, and then I realized it was because of some issues that I had from my past lives. Isn't that crazy? How things from like your past life could like affect your future life?
Not only your past life, but the past lives of your parents. So we also carry the DNA of our ancestors. So again, when I look in the soul record, I can find those pieces that are there, and we can learn how to manipulate them, work them, heal them, so that you don't have to carry the negative parts of the energy in your experience.
Oh, thank you, Darlene. Thank you. Hopefully, yes, thank you. Hopefully one day I find the right person. I'm working on it.
Oh, she's the best.
It's hard. It's so hard.
But we're all in it together, so we're going to change that. It's not going to be hard, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, you have to heal my... I feel like I'm going to blame it all on my father's ancestry line. That's what
think?
I think it was my father's. I somehow, please heal them so that I can finally find a boyfriend. If my dad watches that, this is going to be like, they always blame me for everything.
For everything, right?
Hello, how are you? Yes, guys. Yes, hi. So we're just here talking about soul readings and all of that stuff. Now, what are some ways that you can work on healing those things from past lives?
Well, it depends on what it is. And again, like I said, there's many modalities for healing, and I have to look particularly at what your issue is before I can give you a healing tool. But one thing Lauren alluded to, which is very true of how I practice, is that every time I work with someone, you leave with something in your toolbox, right, Lauren?
Yeah.
I make sure that you get the information, homework, and I make you do your homework. Yes, I give it to you. I give you meditations. I give you mantras. I give you physical, mental, emotional, spiritual tools so that you can move forward, move past experiences, and heal them, because we have all the power here to shift our experience. It's a very powerful time to be on the planet, and we have every tool we need. We just haven't remembered where that toolbox is. So part of what I do is give people their tools back so that they don't have to depend on me for everything. They come to me for advice, for help along the way, but each time they leave with a package of tools.
And it's really amazing. And guys, it's Akashic Records reading, and if you Google it, you can see it's very interesting. Like Star Wars, the Avengers movies, like all of those things are kind of like part of It's so cool. It's just like it's like all these things they talk about in Hollywood. It goes back to the Akashic Records, which are like the oldest, the records of everything in the world. And what's really cool is like I've talked to people who were telling me like, because after she read my records, it kind of changed my life. It's like, oh my God, all this makes sense now. Like it all makes sense. One of the things she said, because of the planet I come from, I'm always looking, like it's like a planet of love. So like I'm always looking for, like I'm always like I pick people who don't love me back, because it's like,
because you research what love isn't.
Yeah. That's my soul sister right there. She's a heart of gold. Oh, thank you, Darlene. Yes. Yes. But yeah, so that really helped me. And somebody told me that he was friends with this addict, and she had all these issues, and then for her recovery, instead of going to rehab, she did her Akashic Records. And she I guess went back and worked on herself and just figured out those issues. So guys, I definitely think it definitely helps.
It's very, very powerful work, and it can shift it can shift patterns in a moment, because nothing is linear. So I know a lot of people have spent decades in talk therapy, for instance, and then ended up coming to me and shifted a program within an hour. So it's not something to be taken lightly. It's very profound. And it belongs to you. And that's the beautiful thing about it. I'm not making it up. I go into your record. I pull out what belongs to you. And then that's why it resonates with you. And that's why you can then say, oh, okay, I want to shift it, or I want to change it, or embrace it and make it better. And then the work belongs to you.
And where can people find you? Are you on Instagram, or your Instagram is private? So
I have a website. It's theinnerrealm.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Pretty soon we're gonna put her on social media and do more of this. But let me know if there's any other questions, and definitely check it out. I love you guys. I'm gonna let her go off a live.
Nice
she didn't want to come
all.
on live. I was like, I haven't done a live stream today. I was like, you have to come on, and she was like, I don't want to go on a live. But anyway, guys, I love you. Go to the Inner Realm. Bye.